Parenting toddlers isn't for the faint of heart. If you have a toddler or a preschooler, then you've probably experienced your share of tantrums, meltdowns, and what the heck was that moments. And now I'm not sure if I'm talking about the kids or the parents. This video is going to help you decode the reasons why your toddler or preschooler is misbehaving. And the answers might surprise you. So if you want to learn what's going on in your child's brain, literally and figuratively, then sit back and stay tuned. If you take away one thing from this video, let it be this. All behavior is a form of communication. This can be a really helpful tidbit to remember because when your child is driving you bonkers, it helps to know that they need something or there is a reason why they're acting this way. Despite what our brains think, it's not just because they're trying to push our buttons. There is something more going on there underneath the surface. With that being said, the first reason your toddler may be misbehaving is unmet needs. Now, this may seem obvious, but this one is overlooked way more than you may think, so it's really important to recognize. If a toddler's basic needs aren't being met, then you're going to see that reflected in their behavior, which can come out as anger, whining, or just flat out crankiness. I mean, I'm sure you've been hangry once or twice in your life, right? It happens. So to avoid this, you want to make sure your toddler is well rested and well fed. And don't forget about attention and affection because those are needs too. So load them up on cuddles and put that phone down. I'm not pointing fingers, trust me, I'm guilty of it too. Another thing to remember is that toddlers and preschoolers have limited self-control. And this is actually totally not their fault. Let me explain. There is a part of the brain called the prefrontal cortex, and it's located right behind your forehead. This is the part of the brain that's responsible for things like planning and organization, emotional regulation, focus and attention, future thinking, problem solving, and a bunch of other fancy skills referred to as executive function skills. These are basically the brain's mental abilities that help us manage and regulate our thoughts, emotions, and actions in order to work effectively. A big one of those executive function skills is impulse control. The problem is that the prefrontal cortex doesn't even start to come online until later in early childhood, and it doesn't finish developing until around 25 to 30 years of age. So what this means is that your toddler or preschooler's brain has not developed the capability to control their impulses, which is why you may catch your child's hand in the cookie jar even after you told him 20 times that he's not allowed to eat cookies before dinner. A lot of times this kind of behavior is labeled as disrespectful or defiant, but it's literally just a lack of brain development and it's not your child's fault. That's why I'm so passionate about helping parents understand their young kids, because when we know better, we can parent better. So my tip for this one is to take the steps to educate yourself about your child's brain and their stage of development, because when you discover the scientific reasons why your child is doing what they're doing, things become a lot more clear and you'll probably be less stressed and feel less frustrated as a result. Next on our list is wanting power and control. Again, your toddler's brain is wired this way. They are going through an explosive time of brain development where they realize that they're their own person and separate from their parents, which is why you hear those words no or me do it or mine popping out of their mouth multiple times a day. So although this can be frustrating for us as parents, this is good and it's part of healthy child development. One way you can help this is by giving your child choices and control wherever it's appropriate. So my rule for this is to give my toddlers 2 choices whenever possible. They have to be simple, age-appropriate choices, and I need to be okay with both outcomes. So for example, do you want the blue cup or the green cup? Do you want your fire truck shirt or your excavator shirt? Do you want to run or hop to the bathroom? Once you get into the habit of doing this, you'll probably find it makes your days go smoother and lessens those power struggles. Toddlers and preschoolers aren't the best communicators, so lack of understanding can pop up as cause for behavior issues. As their language skills develop, things can get lost in translation between you and your little one. And this goes both ways. You may not be able to understand what they're trying to communicate to you, and they may not understand what you're requesting of them. My tip for this one, patience and rephrasing. Take a deep breath, get down on your child's level, and look them in the eye as you try to understand what they want, or rephrase or repeat what you want from them. If you're finding this video helpful, then please give that thumbs up button a click, share it with another parent who would benefit, and make sure you're subscribed to Pocketful of Parenting for more tips on how to love your life with littles. Toddlers and preschoolers are like little scientists. They learn by exploring the world around them, and everything is interesting and new to them. This may mean they can get into mischief, for lack of a better phrase. So they do something like dump their water bottle all over the floor. You may see it as them making a huge mess on purpose, but they may just be simply exploring the concept of cause and effect. So reframing your thinking here is super helpful. Now, as someone who gets triggered a bit by messes, I get how this can make you squirm. But being an early childhood teacher, I also know that these are true teaching moments. So try and see it as them exploring. You can also try and redirect them if it's really something that's really super messy or of course not safe, but just know that a lot of times kids get into these kinds of situations because they're curious and exploring. So changing your mindset about this one can definitely help. So you've probably noticed by now that your little one picks up everything that you do, good and bad. Reason number 6 why your toddler or preschooler is misbehaving: imitation. Yeah, unfortunately, they could be behaving in a way that they have seen you or someone else behave because they saw it being modeled to them. And this is precisely how young kids learn. One time my son was talking in a not so nice tone, and I said, "Please don't talk to me like that." And I said it in the same way, which made me kind of have this aha moment and go, oh. So in this scenario, I explained to him that I wasn't speaking to him in a nice voice, and I told him that I would try again, and I apologized. And guess what? He did the same because I modeled it. So make sure you're modeling the behaviors that you want to see from your child. And own it if you know the behavior is coming from you. Now, it's not always coming from you or a partner. It can also be something they pick up from school or an older sibling or someone else. In this case, you can talk to them about what kind of behavior is expected in your home and then model for them what you'd like to see instead. Just know that it's normal for young children to test different kinds of behaviors as they grow, which is why it's important to try and model what you'd like to see from them as much as possible. Let's move on to reason number 7, being overwhelmed with big emotions. Toddlers live in an emotional brain, experiencing their world through their feelings, because again, their rational brain is under construction. This is why they seem to melt down over the smallest things, like when you open their snack for them when apparently they didn't want you to, right? This is because they lack that emotional regulation that comes with the maturity of the prefrontal cortex, which is why it's so important to support them when they experience these big feelings. This is how they learn to manage their emotions. A fantastic tool for this is a calming corner. I talked about this in a recent video, which I will link below this one, but if you don't know what a calming corner is, it's basically a quiet space in your home where your child can go to learn about and manage their emotions. There's a lot more to it than that, which I get into in that video, but this has been an invaluable tool in my home for helping manage my kids' tantrums and big feelings. Toddlers thrive on routine. They crave order and structure and knowing what to expect next. So if you're living each day in chaos without any type of routine or plan, you will most definitely see more misbehavior popping up from your child. Now, you're a toddler mom. Me too. Life is chaos with toddlers. I get it, trust me. But let's shoot for organized chaos, okay? By no means does this equate to planning out every minute of your day with your little one. I'm not delusional, but having a general routine and structure to how your day flows has a calming effect on your little one's brain because they know what to expect and what's coming up next. And guess what? It'll probably help you feel better too. So when I get my kids up, they get changed, they go to the bathroom, they brush their teeth, they get their hair brushed, and they come downstairs for breakfast every day. Once breakfast is over, they know we'll either go play or go for a walk or go somewhere depending on what day it is. I also have a visual schedule that helps with this that we go over so that they know what to expect from our day ahead. You especially want to keep meal, nap, and bedtimes as consistent as possible. If you're struggling with transitions or tantrums, definitely check out my mini course all about how to handle and manage toddler tantrums. You can use the code FRIENDS25 at checkout for 25% off. Your child may exhibit misbehavior due to lack of boundaries. Consistency is crucial when setting boundaries, especially with toddlers who are still learning how the world works. The primary reason is that inconsistency can create confusion and insecurity, which may lead to misbehavior. So imagine if sometimes a red light meant stop, but other times it meant go. You would be confused and you wouldn't know how to respond appropriately when you came to a red light. The same goes for toddlers. They're trying to learn the rules of the road for life. And when those rules change unpredictably, it can become challenging for them to understand and follow them. For example, let's say that one of your rules is no playing with toys at the dinner table. If sometimes you enforce this rule and other times you let it slide because you're too tired to argue, your toddler gets mixed messages. They won't understand when it's okay and when it's not okay to bring toys to the table. Inconsistent boundaries can lead a toddler to testing limits more frequently as they're trying to figure out if this rule still stands or if this is a time when it'll be overlooked. So this testing can often come across as misbehavior or defiance. To prevent this, make sure you're consistent in the way you hold your boundaries with your children so that there is as little confusion as possible when it comes to what's acceptable and what's not. We talked about your child being in an emotional brain at this stage, but in particular, if they're experiencing fear or anxiety, behavior issues can pop up. At this age, kids often don't know how to express complex emotions through words. So this may cause them to act in ways that may be seen as misbehavior due to the discomfort that they feel in their body combined with the release of stress hormones. If you know something may be bothering your child and you see them acting out, know that they need you. Your presence, your comfort, your support. Try and ask them if something is bothering them. And depending on the age and personality of your child, you may be able to talk to them about it, but if not, just be there physically for them. Offer them your time and maybe a hug or some cuddles. Remember, all behavior is a form of communication. Young children often get a bad rap for misbehaving when they're simply acting like what they are, little kids. These behaviors are usually developmentally appropriate and just take a little patience and understanding to see what's going on beneath that behavior. With that being said, sometimes there are extreme circumstances. So if your child's behavior is ever to a point that is of a great concern to you or is putting either your child or others in danger, then please seek the help of a medical or mental health professional right away. If you need more personalized help with your parenting, then check out the link below to see what coaching services I'm currently offering. Parenting is a wild ride. I am sitting right next to you on this roller coaster. You don't have to do this alone. I really hope you found this video helpful. If so, click that like button, leave me a comment below, share it with another parent, and be sure to subscribe to this channel for more tips on parenting toddlers and preschoolers. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.